What's the deal, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hey, I'm out here with one of the project managers. We actually hired him to do the commercial side of it, which you guys saw, but he's got a little repair issues. He was asking me a really good question that a lot of people might not know. So you guys have the AF50 the exhaust vents. Well, people around here, some knucklehead is using these things as intake ventilation, right? And they work as intake, but Dominic got to speaking. We're talking about baffles and all this stuff. And really, ultimately, he's like, well, what's the difference between using them as intake and exhaust, right? And if you look at some of these pictures, here you could see the snow coming down on the baffles, right? And how the snow is just coming inside of the intake vents. Just right here where it's not leaking, he's never had a problem. And he has a couple of these bird blocks, but not enough of them, right? And if you look right here, he has no intake. So what the builder did was he added these, he added the AF50s, you know, for intake ventilation, which would work. Dominic said, hey, never had an issue before. Well, my friend, these are exhaust vents. They're made for exhaust for the roof. So now you have air sucking in through the bottom, right? And the snow's just going up and inside of them. Well, it doesn't do that for the exhaust because air's going out. So when it's intake, the snow is going inside of it and it's coming out. So you don't ever have a problem with AF50s on the exterior of the house. This is why they make smart vent, ladies and gentlemen. That's why they make smart vent. You gotta be smarter than the vents, right? So just keep, people, I don't know why they're just doing these, this is a brand new house. Look at this, it's a brand new house, right? So without that, I'm gonna go ahead and call the customer. Hopefully we can go over there and explain to him what the issue is and maybe we even do the work. But I just want you guys to know this is bugging me, man. I've seen stuff like this every time I drive by a builder, like, why are you guys adding this? Those intake ventilations are designed for very specific reasons when you have older homes that you can't get to add in the blocking, right? So if you're a builder watching this, just put the blocking in, you might as well. Matthew Webb.
This is Matt.
Hey, what's up, Matt? This is David at Legit Exteriors. How are you doing?
Good. How are you, David?
Oh man, if I was doing any better, I'd be a twin. But I'm here with I always say that corny joke, like corny dad jokes. But so I'm here with Dominic, and I'm looking at your situation you have here, right? And so I was talking with Dominic, and he was basically like, why, you know, these vents that you have down there on the intake.
Mm-hmm.
I hate to say it, but they're exhaust vents, right? So they're not made to put, they're not made for intake. So air's not they work as intake, like air goes inside of them, but they're made for air to come out, is why you're leaking. So when it snows, it's doing its job, right? So it's sucking air in, and you have the exhaust vents that have air coming out. So when the snow's coming in, it's actually sucking in through your vents. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, so these vents, we can't put them, or you can't, I don't want you to put them back on no matter what you do, you know, you can't put these vents back on. And yeah, it's unfortunate
they haven't come off, they're still there, but yeah, no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they're made for air to come out. So you have a couple options, there's options that you have. I'm looking at some pictures. What I would do is, if it was my house, I would probably add in the blocking, you know, just because it looks good. But I'm not out there, and I don't really see exactly what's going on. I could get a little bit pricey on it. But what we could do is we add rooftop ventilates all the time.
You add what now?
I'm gonna have, you know what? Dominic said he's gonna be out there on Monday. I just kind of want you to know what you have going on, but he's gonna bring some products to kind of show you what we use. They're called intake vents. It's Venture, made by Owens Corning. Venture, they're made for intakes, and we do them all the time. Maybe before Dominic leaves or something, I can send you a couple pictures on them. Maybe you can kind of stew on it over the weekend.
Okay.
You know?
No, that sounds good.
How long have you owned the house for?
I haven't even been in for 4 months.
Why can't you? This should all be like the builder should be helping you out.
Yeah. Well, that's the type of stuff I'm looking for, right? Is I mean, surely my house is not the only one affected by this. I wonder if the water damage just wasn't severe enough that it dripped through, recessed lighting like mine did, and it's just sitting up there for other people in the neighborhood. But when I look at them, I mean, it's hard to tell when you're just looking from the ground up. But it looks like they all have the same vents, right? So
yeah, they do.
I find it hard to believe that I'm the only one that had snow got sucked in, and I know that the water restoration guys have said that they've responded to a lot of these calls, and they have been mostly newer homes.
I've actually installed these vents like before I knew that, I was just a roofer at the time, but I've seen this happen and I had to figure out like what the heck's going on. Because like the roofer's not really to blame because he's putting on what the builder wants. You know what I mean? So the roofer that they send out there, they're sending roofers that are not really technical guys. They're just installers and they don't know, they're not engineers, but like the builder should know. I'm looking at one picture here where you have the bird blocking. That's what they should have done. And if they didn't do that, then they should have used real intake ventilations that Dominic can show you on Monday. But I hate to throw anybody under the bus, so I don't really want to write anything up because I'll look like the bad guy. I hate it when somebody comes and like chops up our roofs. You know what I mean? Which happens, but so.
Well, I mean, if they're the incorrect vents, right? Like, I mean, that's something I want to take to them, and I won't give names, but just like
if I were you,
somehow.
If I were you, what I would do is probably pull up explain to them what it's going on. So they're made for air coming out of, and they're at the bottom. They're doing their job, what you guys did for air to come in. But every time it's going to snow, just tell them I'm afraid that.
And that's what I feel too, because like when I have access to it, and I get on the ladder, I put my hand up to the vent, and you feel airflow sucking in.
Yeah, it's doing
right?
it. Yeah.
Right, and so what I don't understand is where is the inflow supposed to be? Are they supposed to have soffit vents?
You know what? It's usually so you want your air as close as you can to the eave, right? So now you can put the blocking in, and then you have a baffle, okay? Or you can, if we were going to come in and put the strips, the smart venting, we would go right below to where, and then probably up 6 inches above the ventilation. That way the ventilation, it's kind of out of the way a little bit. And really, honestly, at that point, you don't even need baffles, because baffles are designed so when they're blowing the air in, that they don't want the insulation to go up in. But if you're cutting a strip on top of the above the insulation, then there's really no need for baffles. Does that kind of make sense? Because we add those all the time. We add these on probably 80% of the jobs, and we don't ever put baffles in because there's just no need for it.
Yeah. Well, no, I look forward to seeing Dominic. I mean, I'm interested in the vents. I don't want this to happen again. It's a 4-month-old house. I've got all my ceilings torn down, and so I want to look into
Yeah, it's a bummer.
Obviously, I'd like to see if I can get insurance or the builder to pay for it, but if I can figure out how much this stuff's going to cost, then I can figure out how I take care of it.
The builder has to pay for it, man. That's just all there is to it. And really they should be paying to fix they should find it as a defect and go and replace all the ones that they've ever done, or at least the ones in that neighborhood within a year or something. But yeah, man, I just wanted to let you know, kind of explain to you. I know I talk quick and I get excited about roofing stuff because I'm usually in the office a lot, and anytime I get a problem, I just get excited about it. So I know I'm a fast talker, but
well, especially when you see it, it sounds like you definitely know what's happening. So so I understand, is it the placement of the vents or the types of vents?
It's the placement of the vents. Those vents would work dynamite on the top of the roof wherever air is coming out of. As soon as you put them on the bottom, the air starts coming inside of them. Okay, it creates a vacuum.
Yeah.
And when the air's coming inside of it, guess what else is coming inside? Snow. But obviously the snow did the trick. But yeah, it's unfortunate that these guys are even using them. They're exhaust vents. They're not made for intake. They make special vents for intake.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, yeah, man. I look forward to. I know he was going to try to come out today, but it's way late. I'll see him Monday.
Yeah,
I'm
for
looking
sure.
forward to it.
Right on. Yeah, he's right here. So yeah, we got it on speaker. So I'll let he knows. So he's putting a thumbs up. But all right, sounds good. Thanks a lot. Have a good weekend. Okay.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Yeah. Bye, man.
Guys, we put this video together and I was actually about to drop it, but I just want to kind of show you guys intake ventilation, the proper intake ventilation, right? So this stuff is Owens Corning inflow vent. It's made specifically for intake. So what you have is you have this, and the shingle will actually cover this up, right? So the shingle will, I don't know, let's just pretend this was a shingle. So the shingle will cover it up and it'll go down to there. And I'll actually show you guys maybe a little picture of it, but so you can imagine that this is sitting on the roof, right? The air is gonna actually come in here. Okay? There's gonna be the air is gonna come in here. And it's gonna flow in here, right? And let's flip this over so you can see it. So now that the air's on the other side of this, it'll come in here and it'll work its way all the way up to here where you put a slit in the roof right here, right? So there's gonna be a slit in the roof right here, and you're gonna cover it over it right there, and the air is gonna come in all the way up there. And you have this little mesh right here so the bugs don't get in there. Because if you just put the bugs, if you put this over like that, there's no bugs are gonna be able to get in there, so you'll still get the air up. Now the snow, it's not gonna go all the way up because of these. Look at these, the way that these are designed, it's kind of zigzag, and the snow is not gonna go, it's not gonna come in and all the way up here. It's just too far for the snow to go. So if it does, it'll get plugged up in these little holes right here. If you look at these, like, see that? I think that's the way the engineer, I'm not an engineer, but I can tell you that this is designed for that, right? So this is gonna be a better option for anybody trying to get intake ventilation. And we did also find out that the reason that the builder did use those is because it's within 5 feet of the property line, and they have to have intake. You can't have intake within 5 feet. So those blur blockings wouldn't have worked right there, so they had to go 5 feet up. The problem is they should have used this stuff. They used the wrong kind of venting. They used the exhaust vent, so the rest in there. But enjoy the video, the rest of the video. That's how you do it, man. Talk to the customer. I know Dominic's gonna go out there. Dominic, if you can't sell this guy, man, you suck at sales, man. So it should just be super simple, because a lot of these guys, they just don't know a lot of the guys are salesmen, man, right? They're not roofers. That's why it pisses me off when some people on the channel are like, look at that salesman, this and sells and that. I'm like, dude, I can roof too. I can probably out-roof most of you roofers, you know what I mean? Or maybe back in the day, maybe not right now, but for sure back in the day, I would slam out squares and cleaner way more than a lot of you guys. But that's enough of my ego. I'm gonna let you guys get out of here, man. You guys have a good day. Peace.